I see.
Oh, you dialed in on my account.
Oh, I did. I didn't dial in. I just clicked the link.
Right. That's because you didn't exit out. Remember how I told you to sign off?
Sorry,
That's okay. You're fine. You're fine. It
I-
works, apparently.
Oh, good, good. I got to get in the habit. I'm still learning.
I know. And you get to. All right.
I'm going to pause the recording right now.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Cancer Journey Show. That was a little preemptive commercial that you were seeing before we started. I'm Sherry Ann Tom.
And I'm Carrie Lehman.
And we are the co-founders of the Cancer Journey Institute. So you might wonder why we're doing this show. And as you probably heard from earlier, I'm in Santorini, but I'm not. For some reason, you get to do a virtual background if you wanted to on Zoom. So apparently I picked this one and I can't seem to turn it off. So I'm just going to be in Santorini today. We started this show because we often get asked the question, what is Cancer Journey Coaching? And while we have an answer and we say, it is the way that we work with individuals, cancer patients, survivors, and caregivers on their cancer journey from the inside out, meaning we help them work with their emotions and their mental thoughts and also their spirit. And that doesn't seem to quite translate well enough. So what we decided to do was start a show where you can actually experience it and see it. I think they said a picture's worth 1,000 words. I think a show is probably worth 10,000 words. So I want to get into, so that's why we're doing the show. It is a 30-minute show. And there's a little bit of an intro that we do here, and then you'll actually see some of the coaching happen in a small little 15-minute coaching mini session. And then we'll wrap it up and kind of summarize what took place, and then we're off. And that will be the end of this episode. And today happens to be episode 3. So before we talk about what happened last week, this kind of feels like
where we last left our heroine.
Where we last left off, I want to just say a little bit about Carrie and I and the Cancer Journey Institute. So the Cancer Journey Institute is the nation's first cancer coach training organization. We are ICF approved. And what that says to us is we've been like vetted and examined and
approved.
And when I say examined, it kind of feels like we've opened our kimono. We've shown the ICF, the International Coaching Federation, which is kind of like our governing body, who we are and what we do. And they said, yep, we approve, you are valid, here you go. And we're really actually very proud of that. We're also proud of the fact that we've been written up in the Wall Street Journal as well as Cure Today. And so we feel like we're getting validation from the world, like, yes, you know what you're talking about. And we do know what we're talking about because me being a 5-time cancer survivor and Carrie being a survivor and caregiver, we also have over 45 years of coaching experience between the two of us. I know, let me say that again. Over 45 years combined. Yeah, Carrie said last week.
That old.
It means we know what we're talking about. We know what we're doing. So, having said that, I want to go back to, so what happened last week? And for those of you who are tuning in again, you know that what we do is real time. It's not rehearsed. It's not practiced. What we're doing is having a lovely patient/survivor come and volunteer her time, but also being willing to be coached out loud, because coaching tends to be a very intimate and quiet behind the scenes thing. And she's willing to let us show you what this is and bringing all of her journey with you and with us. So what we experienced last week with Cathy is that she was having trouble noticing her negative ego. And the negative ego is kind of that Stanley on your shoulder, the gremlins also called, sometimes it's the monkey on your back that says, who do you think you are? You should be doing this. You couldn't possibly, let's be realistic. If you notice that it was all heady and it was actually taking Cathy away from who she truly is. And so we did an exercise that got her to connect to her essence, to her heart, because we can't actually go anywhere or do anything until we really connect with ourselves. And that's what we experienced with Cathy last week. And she had a homework called Being. Her homework was to be with her heart, like connect with that for at least 2 minutes a day. And then we also offered her the option of, let's do it for a little bit longer, perhaps play the Beatles song, Let It Be, and just let yourself for that song period with those beautiful lyrics, just let yourself be for that period of time. I don't know what happened. We're going to find out because we're just about to bring Cathy on. So having said that, I'm going to take myself away. Carrie, I'm going to let you take it away. And Cathy, if you would bring your video on, I'm going to bid adieu for a moment.
Hi, Cathy. Hi, Carrie. Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I don't know if anybody else can.
Can you hear me now?
No.
I gotta put my thing down. Now
No,
can you?
Hi, there she is. Hello.
Hello.
So why don't we Pesh? So how are you
Oh.
physically?
Physically 9.
9, and emotionally?
Emotionally, I started the day as a 9 and now I'm about a 7.
Oh, okay. So you've had a little drop. And
Yeah. Spiritually, about a 5.
and how
And hope, I would say I'm a 9.
9. And what's a word that describes you in this moment?
Raw.
Raw. Anything more you want to say about raw?
Well, a couple things happened today that were kind of emotional. One, I listened to Let It Be, and then I listened to Ariana Huffington has started this podcast called Meditation Stories, and this morning was a really nice one, and I listened to that, and I just started sobbing. And I noticed actually during the week, listening to my heart did make me cry a little bit. So I did cry a little more this week. And then the other thing that happened is a woman that I've known for years, because our kids are friends, died a couple days ago, and I just found out about an hour ago.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm feeling a little upset about that. She had breast cancer. This was her second battle with it, and it metastasized to her brain. So that was kind of upsetting. My son called and told me.
Wow.
Yeah, and he called me because of my breast cancer, and he wanted to touch base with me, and I had to reassure him that I'm not there yet. I'm not there. Yeah.
Yeah. And how
So that was,
yeah.
Yeah, and so I was fine, and then it's just starting to like brew in my body, the emotions of this whole
Of everything, or
yeah, well, that's close to home.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So is that what you'd like coaching on today? One thing I want to do is I mean, I realize it's very raw and this is for this show, so we don't have to go there, but I want to say you did your homework, obviously, and you're in your heart right now. And so what would you like coaching on today?
I would like coaching on, I think just getting through this. I feel like this last week, my heart has been really dark and black, and actually just this morning, I started to see like parts of my heart pixelate to pink.
Interesting.
So that was, yeah, so that was
still black, somewhere pink.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to the, you know, the red beating heart, that when you think of a heart, that's what I think of. Yeah, I feel like it's been asleep. Not asleep, but just shut.
Interesting. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So what did you notice this week when you were tuning in? You said you cried more.
Mm-hmm. Initially, it was just the black, like lead, solid, and I'm listening. And I wonder if my negative ego is coming in, because I wasn't able to really connect that well.
Well, let's take you to this moment right now.
Yeah.
That's what we can better work with.
I know, I'm trying really hard to get away from it.
Get away from the present moment.
Yeah, can you tell?
So just put your hand on your heart and take a breath into your heart. And tell me what you notice.
Sadness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm scared. I'm trying really hard to be strong.
So you.
But that's it. Yeah. So just sadness and fear. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you put your hand. So when you feel into your heart, guess what? You've got feelings in there. And your negative ego wants to tell you that it's not strong to feel your feelings, that if you cry, you're not strong.
Well, I think my feelings are so intense that it's almost painful. And it's almost like if I let them out, I'll never get my composure back. So
that's what your ego is telling you, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Distinction. Because what will free you from these feelings is to feel the grief you're feeling.
Yeah. Right.
Like we can all feel it. So, but by you feeling it, you're gonna help us to, I don't know, it just helps to move through it.
Yeah.
So tell me what's happening right now with your heart.
It's just there, and it's just feeling. My head keeps wanting to come in and telling me stories.
Okay, good.
So I'm trying to stop that and just let it feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just for us to know, what's your head trying to tell you?
My head's trying to say, oh yeah, you just need to go and you just need to cry for a while.
Yeah. But like get off the call and go cry.
Well,
We don't have to listen to
I
this.
don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
don't.
That's good.
Yeah.
What I loved about that, Cathy, is we're trying to make a distinction between your true heart and your true self and when your negative ego comes in.
Yes, right.
And so let's go back to your feelings. What feeling seems to rise more to the surface? Is it fear or grief?
Grief.
Grief. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. So how are you experiencing your grief right now? Is there a physical sensation you have?
Hmm.
What is that physical sensation
It's pain and tightness.
in your heart? Kind of your heart.
Right. Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you could imagine the shape of it,
Uh-huh.
what's the shape?
It's like a blob, like a paint splatter on a wall.
Is it 3D or just 2D, the splatter?
It's flat. It's just flat on my chest.
And what color is it?
It's red.
Red.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. And does it just stay in one shape or does it move?
It's like this heavy, like, you know what those dental lead aprons feel like? It
Yeah.
feels like that.
Yeah. Yes. So it's a weight on your chest.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you could touch it,
It's kind of like plasticky, rubbery, like those mats that you stand on in the kitchen.
mm-hmm. So it's got some give to it. It's a little gushy.
Hmm. Right.
And what's its temperature?
It's cool. It's cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool.
Mm-hmm. And if it was making a sound, what sound would it make?
Mm. If I were to lift it off my chest and throw it and throw it against the wall, it would be splat. It would just be like, but sitting on my chest, there's no sound.
Okay. So as you put your hand, put your hand on it again and take a breath. What happens?
It kind of melts.
You kind of melt or it kind of
No,
melts?
it does.
It melts. Uh-huh. So it's
Mm-hmm.
shrinking or just kind of dissipating?
Kind of dissipating, like pixelating, just to under my hand.
Mhm. Is there anything it wants to say? Any words?
It says, "Be careful."
Be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that means? Does that mean something to you?
I could make wrong choices. I could,
Now it sounds like it's shifting into fear.
uh-huh,
Mm-hmm.
be careful.
Mm-hmm. And because there's this path and journey that your friend has been on, and you don't want that to happen to you. Is that kind of the fear that the be careful?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How does that make you feel?
What it?
How does it make you feel when your heart when you're getting that message of be careful? What's the impact on you?
Feel I shrink a little bit.
Yeah, it's constricting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I would think it would paralyze. For me, that would feel paralyzing.
Yeah. Yeah.
We'll make a false move.
Well, my confidence goes down.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that voice is that fear. The negative ego can often appear in a fear voice as well. Right?
Right. Okay.
It's making the leap for you. It's saying, oh, you don't want to end up like her, when really her journey has nothing to do with your journey.
Right.
Do you get that?
I do. I know that. Yes. I know
Yeah.
that. It's we're very different people, very different lives, very different experiences.
Yeah. So that little fear voice that just came in, that was your negative ego. And it wants to
Okay.
tell you that it's a scary world. It's always going to come from kind of a fear-based place. And then if you don't listen there, it'll start to amp up the volume. So
Right.
what's really true in this moment, Cathy?
What's really true in this moment is that I feel well. What's really true in this moment is that I have an amazing son.
Yes. Yes. What else is true?
What else is true is it's sunny outside. um, um, I'm very fortunate in my place in life.
Are you safe right now?
I am. Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm. Yeah.
So will you take that will you take that thing that's on your chest? What's it doing now?
It's not there.
Oh, it's not even there. Fantastic.
Mm-mm.
Fantastic. So when that fear starts to creep back in again, what will you do?
I think I need to stop and ask myself, is this my negative ego?
Yeah. Is it, yeah, because it's the distinction to make is the process that we went through with, the five senses. What is it shaped like? That was bringing you more present to your fear itself versus the getting caught up in the story, or what if, what if, what if. So if there's a narrative going on and it's off in the future, that's your negative ego. So
Okay.
bring yourself back to the present and ask yourself, what's really true in this moment? What do I know for sure in this moment? Will you do that?
Yes. Yeah.
And also, will you take the time, whatever time you need to have a good cry? Not from the place of this could be me, but just from the regular old, plain old Americanized grief. Will you?
Yeah, I'll try. Yeah,
You'll try.
I'll try. I mean, I need to be alone. And,
Yes. No,
you
when
know,
you're alone.
yeah.
So
Yeah. I mean,
be with it. You'll be with it is what I don't
yeah.
mean.
Yeah.
You'll just be with it and do whatever comes up.
Yeah.
You'll respond to yourself.
Okay. I
That's
like that. I'll respond. Yeah.
beautiful. Beautiful. So what's one word for where you are right now, sweetie?
I would say opening.
Open. Okay. And is there a takeaway you want to share?
I think I'm a little more clear about when to say, hey, negative ego. That when to find when it's present.
Yeah. So you have more of a distinction of the difference of when it's there and when it's not there.
Yeah. Right.
Great. Thank you, darling.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Cathy. I'm going to return
Welcome.
you to being the audience. Right. Whew, thank you, Carrie. That was quite a coaching session. Albeit short, it was powerful. And I just want to recap some of what we saw is that life happens. Even through this whole COVID-19 pandemic, life still happens. And so what showed up in Cathy's life was the passing of somebody that she held dear. And what was even dearer was that her son called her, not just to let her know, but because, hey, Mom, it made me think about you. I care about you. How are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
And oh my goodness, grief is around us right now all over the place. And when it hits, we tend to do this, hold on, I don't want to feel it, because we are afraid of just exactly what Cathy was doing, is that I'm going to spiral down and then I'm not going to be able to catch myself.
Yeah, because I think, we all experience grief as like a big wave. And that wave, it's almost like, oh my God, it's going to be a tidal wave and it's just going to suck me under and I'm going to be in the undertow and I'm never going to come back out.
Exactly.
And that was, I think, the most helpful distinction we could make, was that actually, no, you're fine in this moment. And that's what your ego will tell you. So you don't feel what you need to feel and you stay stuck in the grief. Right. So that's what we were trying to do, was get her from the clutches of her ego.
Right. Which we could only tell when we heard the words, the be careful. Because what we thought we were experienced with her was the grief. And I agree. I think that grieving was happening. And yet here comes the negative ego trying to take it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, no, we don't want to feel this. So let's take it and let's stop you by saying, be careful, which sends her straight to fear and away from the grief.
Yes. So what I didn't realize initially was that the fear was her negative ego.
Right.
And it was a distraction from the real deep feeling that's going to be more productive for her, which is the grief and sadness that she's feeling.
Which you got to, and then you got to come back to the present moment, which is the only place she has power anyways. And being in the present moment, she could be like, oh, I've got me. And I can be sad, and I can grieve, and I can be so appreciative of this beautiful son that I have in my life that I have right now. It's like, what is here in this moment to be felt?
Yeah, it was once she could be in the present moment, which is, like you said, it's the only place she can be in her power. You could feel her start to, just come back to herself. It's like, oh, there she is. And she's realizing the life she has and the love she has.
Right. And now she's standing there. She's standing in a more powerful place to be in the world. This is what coaching is about, is the clarity and the place to get you to stand powerfully. Yes. Not in a fighting warrior mode, just I'm grounded, I'm centered, I'm good. So she can deal with whatever shows up. Beautiful. Thank you so much. And so now Cathy gets to live her life, and she'll be back with us for episode 4. Wow, so much to unpack there, and I'm glad we took the time. So what I want you guys to know is we'll be here again next week, Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to know more, please feel free to give us a shout out at info@thecancerjourney.com. I'm using that one because I think it's easier to remember. That's info@thecancerjourney.com. Or we also have a fundamentals training program that starts on April 21st. If you're thinking, I might want to check this cancer journey coaching training out. So we'd love to hear from you. We'll see you next week. Carrie, thank you for your coaching. Cathy, thank you for being such a wonderful client. And we'll see you next week. Remember, you are more powerful than you realize.
Indeed. Bye.
Bye for now.